What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, we got a Great League battle submission featuring Morpeko by the Charon's Claw. Thank you, trainer, for sending in these battles to the channel for Shoutcast. Trainers, if you'd like to send in your own battles, there is a link to a Google form in the description and the pinned comment that you can check out and send in your own battles if you'd like them featured on the channel. I love Morpeko. Moltres and Mandibuzz, I see the reason here. We have two very strong answers to every mud slapper in the game, and Morpeko just is Morpeko. It just goes through everything. It's Morpin time. Let's get into these battles here in the Great League and see this thing just go. In the first game, we get a Mud Slapper, the worst case scenario for this Gastrodon. Actually, this is a reason, if you don't know... Oh, why? No. Get that thing out of here. Go back to the Stone Age where you belong, Bastiodon. Mandibuzz comes in, but that's okay because you kind of need to bait this out. However... we're going to be looking to just fire off as many Dark Pulses as possible here. Morpeko. Now, this is a reason why I kind of like having Seed Bomb on Morpeko. Recently, I've just started to use that instead, because at least at that point, you can Seed Bomb, and not many people are actually expecting the Seed Bomb on the Morpeko, so you might actually catch some trainers by surprise, and the Mandibuzz is going to go down here. Unfortunate, there's no way that Mandibuzz really ever flips this matchup because Bastiodon can shield back if it needs to, but now this gives Morpeko an opportunity to potentially get in here and fire off a boosted Dark Aura Wheel into the Gastrodon if the opponent decides to let this go. Going for a very nice overfarm here. Charon's Claw doing some very nice counting as they're going for this Aura Wheel, and this boosted Dark-type Aura Wheel will get the shield back from the Gastrodon or probably do almost all of its HP right then and there, going for that Aura Wheel. Let's see if the opponent respects this damage. Do they? Oh, they do. And then we're going to see the immediate switch into the Glaring Moltres, getting that shield back. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have another answer to a Flyer, which they don't seem to, as the Moltres is going to absorb a Body Slam here. The opponent not swapping out, and there's the Venusaur in the back. The opponent only had one answer to the Flying type, and that's all that matters here. Moltres is going to need to close this game up, and it's going to come down to, can it get the energy for a Brave Bird against the Gastrodon? As the Morpeko is not going to do a whole lot here against that ground type, but the opponent decides to let it go. That might be their undoing here. Even a shield advantage is not going to be enough for this Gastrodon. Getting a catch, they catch the move. It's going to be a Body Slam, but the Gastrodon will be able to farm down. However, I don't know how much. Just one Mud Slap, that's all they get. One Mud Slap, and then in comes the Moltres. I would have liked to see one Sucker Punch and then the move, but also there's a chance that, you know, you might just get one turn lag and then everything doesn't work out the way you intended anyway. It doesn't matter because we get this Brave Bird off, and that's going to do boom! Enough to knock out the Gastrodon. Good game. Getting into the next games here, we're going to have a Guzzlord on the lead. Another miserable... Oh my goodness, this team. Dude, Guzzlord is sneaky good in this meta right now. It is core breaking so many teams, including this one. Also core broke me when I was playing Morpeko. This thing is just, it's a nuisance, man. They got the Dragon Claw Brutal Swing. Doesn't look like they're gonna have Sludge Bomb, so at least in that regard you don't have to worry about that. But honestly, Dragon Claw is probably worse because it does hit this entire team for pretty good neutral damage. But Mandibuzz is here to try to give this Guzzlord the slip. If the opponent has an answer to the Morpeko in the back, this is why they're probably staying in here, in order to win this matchup with their Guzzlord so that they can align the other Pokemon in the back to the Morpeko. Or they just simply don't have an answer in the back to the Moltres, which would probably be the best case scenario. Or answer in the back to the Mandibuzz / Moltres. I guess it kind of works out. But yes, this team is triple weak to Fairy, so if you see a single Wigglytuff, you pretty much just top left. But the trainer who submitted the battles did mention that they really did not see any Fairies, thankfully, so that helped contribute to a really nice run with this team. Now the opponent's going to come in with a Typhlosion, and this may be just that one thing that didn't want to see the Morpeko, or didn't want to see the Moltres, I don't know. But anyway, what's in the back? It's a Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is definitely going to do a lot of work here, and we're going to shield up this Morpeko. As long as we can get this Morpeko going, there's a good solid chance that this thing might actually be able to do some work. I would actually hazard to guess here that maybe we just go for the Aura Wheel anyway, because the electric type damage, even though it's resisted, will do far more than a non-stab, very low power Psychic Fangs. Aura Wheel, whoa, that's gonna knock out the Ferrothorn. Boom! The opponent comes in with their Typhlosion. Is Typhlosion gonna be able to give the Moltres 2 Thunder Punches to get the knockout with it? Huh?
Boom!
Hello, trainer, you had 2 shields. What happened? Okay, anyway, we roll into the next one. Sandslash on the lead in the next game, and this is a good matchup-ish for the Morpeko because the Morpeko does outpace to basically the first move for the Sandslash. They need to land the drill run here. Otherwise, Ice Punch is just... I mean, you still have to shield anyway. It's Morpeko, and we have to get rid of the Sandslash here. But because it's a Powder Snow Alolan, Sandslash is a little bit dangerous. Now, the opponent may try to catch at some point, and they do. They catch on an Azumarill, which is a good attempt, but now Morpeko really just has an opportunity to go absolutely ballistic in this game. We'll see the overfarm here most likely. Going for the Aura Wheel. The opponent, do they respect this and shield? I got my hand on the button, dude. I'm ready.
Boom!
Oh, thank you. Thank you for not shielding the trainer. And the opponent comes in with the Alolan Sandslash here, and those Powder Snows and Ice Punches are going to add up quite a bit, but the opponent's taken a bit of damage already from the previous matchup with the Morpeko. So 2 Ice Punches, but then they're going to have to take at least a Dark Pulse, if not maybe 2 here. It is a non-Shadow Alolan Sandslash, so these moves are not going to hit nearly as hard as they would if the Shadow were in play here, but still doing quite a bit as it's super effective. Dark Pulse is going to get the Sandslash low, and if this Dark Pulse connects and the opponent decides not to shield, this is a very good position for the Moltres, but unfortunately the opponent does shield. However, Moltres is coming in anyway. It's just going to say, you know what? I'm going to take this Ice Punch. Hopefully you have something in the back, and the opponent has they have a Quagsire in the back. 1 Brave Bird is all we need here, and we're going to go for the Cap Tie because we can. Going for that Brave Bird. Ready, give 1 shot, please. Please.
Boom!
Yes! Oh, I knew what I signed up for when I took this shoutcast, dude. This whole team, well, 2/3 of this team. Nukes, baby. Nukes! In the next game, we have Morpeko. This is a not good lead for us here because you really have to win this matchup. Now, we're going to go for the Aura Wheel. The opponent does win charge attack priority, having a 13 attack stat on the Morpeko. That's a very highly attack weighted Morpeko here, and this is actually looking very, very dicey. Now, unless that was a coin flip, which is also a possibility, it's going to come down to who wins charge attack priority at all of these junctures. But you have to bait the Psychic Fangs, or we just go into the Mandibuzz to catch the Dark type Aura Wheel, which is not terribly, not a terrible move here. But this really, okay, the opponent's going to swap out. Honestly, I think if I was the opponent here, I might have stayed in to just let the Morpeko go, dude. But the typings on the Mandibuzz there did say super effective. I don't know if that's a bug or if it's just because Aura Wheel's scripted as an electric type move, but it is definitely resisted. It was not super effective. If that was super effective, it would have just simply one-shot the entirety of that Moltres and all of its children. So Dark Pulse is going to come through. We are going to get some chip damage off against this Clodsire. The opponent will have to go for a move here, but going for the Aerial Ace, but unfortunately the game decides to throw another fast move. Man, I hate that. I feel that pain. Stone Edge is going to knock out Mandibuzz, and in comes the Morpeko. It does have the Psychic Fangs ready to go and should be able to get to 2 of them unless the opponent did overfarm enough to be able to get to multiple Stone Edges before. They did, which is unfortunate. Now it's going to come down to the Morpeko. It's down a shield, but we did catch the energy on the Mandibuzz earlier, so this Morpeko is ahead on energy. We have to see what happens here, though. The Morpeko is going to shield. All shields are down now, and unfortunately, I don't know if this Moltres is going to be able to win this game because it's not getting to a move in Morpeko. We'll have to deal with Dark-type Aura Wheel. Man, this is going to be tough. We'll have to see what happens. The Sucker Punches are ripping through Morpeko. Morpeko has a boosted Dark-type Aura Wheel. How much damage is it going to do to this Moltres here? Aura Wheel not going to take out the Moltres. Moltres is going to have to go for an Ancient Power. The opponent basically needs something with Mud Slap that has, like, no charge moves at all in order to win this game, and I don't know it's going to be possible. It's a Feraligatr, unfortunately. The right thing in the back. The opponent even decides to swap, but Clodsire is going to farm down. Unfortunate, because that could have been a win. Moltres just needed, like, 2 more HP, dude. We got good leads in the next game, though. Morpeko into a Talonflame. The opponent staying in this matchup is a strange decision indeed. They're going to go bring in the Cresselia. That is a Confusion Cresselia here. Right move here, I think, might be to build up some energy. Okay, it's a Shadow Cresselia. That's pretty spicy. We go for the Dark-type Aura Wheel in order to threaten damage here. We're going to swap into this Mandibuzz, hopefully catching a Grass Knot here. And we do. We get the Grass Knot. Confusion Cresselia is certainly a choice. I can see why you'd want to do it because of the poisons and a lot of things that are weak to Psychic-type move pressure. in this meta. However, it makes Cresselia's pacing absolutely abysmal. Children running around in the background. It's making the pacing absolutely miserable here for the Cresselia, and you're going to get fully farmed down. Now, the opponent has a Talonflame that comes in. They're going to now be at a move after this Incinerate. Do they decide to throw, or are they just going to go for an Incinerate down here? Oh man, I would have liked to see going for the Dark Pulse, because that nearly would have knocked out. If the opponent shields us, it's fine, but if they don't, that could be missing damage. They just, oh man, you miss out on that damage. That's unfortunate. But now, the Morpeko can come in and go immediately for the Psychic Fangs. Is going to threaten a knockout, or the Talonflame is going to have to shield to keep its energy, and it does. The opponent going for their charge move, but they're down all shields at this point. Morpeko could go for a second Psychic Fangs. I think it had the energy for it. Flame Charge going to get shielded here, and then the opponent's going for the next move immediately, but it looks like Morpeko wants to shield up and get this energy and the farm down. The opponent comes in with an Azumarill. We go for the Psychic Fangs, and then the next Aura Wheel is going to obliterate this Azumarill.
It's ASMR time. Give it to me. All of the health. Give it to me. I need this in my life.
Give it to me. Take it out.
Boom!
Oh, you love to see it. Destroying Azumarill is what we do here. Good game. Getting into the next game, we got Morpeko into a Drifblim. Another amazing lead for Morpeko. You couldn't ask for a better lead, quite honestly, because this thing just absolutely outpaces the Drifblim and negates the Icy Wind attack debuff with these Aura Wheels even faster than the Icy Winds can come out. Opponent just stacks it. It's gone.
Boom!
And they're going to come in with a clodsire, and I think you just go for Aura Wheel in this case. Because it's the dark type Aura Wheel, I would always definitely go for the Aura Wheel in this case, because it's going to do so much more damage, and if the opponent decides they don't need to shield this, then you go for the Psychic Fangs in the electric cycle, and then go back to Aura Wheel when it's on the dark cycle. Or if the Aura Wheel lands and you're low enough that you can knock out the opponent with the Psychic Fangs after the first dark type Aura Wheel, then you just go for the Psychic Fangs. I think that would have been the correct play here. Moltres is going to come in, but it's a shield down. Can he get this farm down? Those Psychic Fang debuffs are really helping here. The Stone Edge would do quite a bit of damage, but if the opponent doesn't have an answer to a Dark type, which they do not, and in comes for Alligator, we're going to go for this Ancient Power. The opponent basically has to shield something at some point. This might be enough. No, they're going to shield. It wouldn't be enough. What am I talking about? But we can get to another Ancient Power. This thing has the ability to just go through for Alligator. Moltres, if you didn't know, by the way, it does have the ability to 2-shield Sucker Punch down a Shadow for Alligator, which is an incredibly interesting stat in my opinion. But also, Morpeko just shreds through the Gator because of the pacing advantage. Well, the attack advantage, I should say. And also being able to resist the Shadow Claws means it doesn't really get much of a farm down. Opponent going for the Hydro Cannon, but in comes the Morpeko. We're trying to Thundershock down a Clodsire. Good game, well played. Getting into the next game, we got Morpeko into another Gastrodon. Uh-oh. Disaster strikes. These bad leads going into the Mandibuzz, but there's no Bastiodon this time. Instead, we get hit with a Dunsparce, which is honestly just as bad in this case, because there's really no instance for the Mandibuzz to flip this matchup, unfortunately. And in doing so, Morpeko really also doesn't get the chance to fully farm this down because the pacing on Dunsparce is just so much better. But we're going to see the Mandibuzz looking to overfarm here, and Dunsparce is going to look to go for its Rock Slide, trying to take down this bulky Flying Vulture. Mandibuzz is going to go for the Dark Pulse here. Dark Pulse would do about half of the remaining HP of the Dunsparce or so, and we could get to another one potentially, and the opponent doesn't have a charge move, and that is huge. We're going to be able to force a shield advantage from the Dunsparce, and the opponent may have to, yeah, they have to go for that rock slide or the rollout down in order to have the energy to fight the Morpeko. I would wonder if we see a cheeky little catch here. Oh, we go for the Peekaboo. Does the opponent throw the Drill Run, please? Please tell me there's a Drill Run catch. Oh, it's beautiful. I get the Drill Run catch. Let's go. But now you have to shield this. This is a Rock Slide, but beautiful energy diversion. Sharon's Claw decides to just take it and give the energy and give the shields to the Morpeko. We're going for this Brave Bird as the opponent decide to respect this damage. They are already down 2 shields, but they know the entire team, and there is a Gastrodon in the back. I don't know if there's any way to win this game because Gastrodon can simply just roll right through the rest of this Morpeko, but the opponent is going for this move to try and take out the Morpeko. Are we just Stone Edge, we call the Stone Edge. We're going for the Psychic Fangs. Aura Wheel will be Dark type after the Psychic Fangs goes through, but is the Gastrodon. They have to respect it, right? Gastrodon is going to get to a move, but the Psychic Fangs is going to be enough. Is the opponent counting? Are they going to respect this Aura Wheel? No, they're not. The opponent knows it's not enough energy, and that's pretty much going to be, unfortunately, a wrap on this game, as Moltres will probably just get Mud Slapped down, and Sharon's Claw is going to fight it out, though. Hopefully going to be able to get to 2 moves. Maybe the Mud Slaps are double resisted here. Going for that Ancient Power. Trying to get some shields out of this Gastrodon before being able to potentially get to a next move. But the opponent has 2 Body Slams, and unfortunately, that is going to be a good game here. Well played. Hard countered. That was really tough, honestly. All right, rolling into this next game here, we're going to have Morpeko on the lead versus a Jumpluff. This is a pretty not so great. I would say it's kind of neutral at best. Those Fairy Winds add up very quickly, but Aura Wheel is going to have a massive pacing advantage here, as the opponent's basically forced to go for Energy Balls in order to try and take out this Morpeko. Morpeko is going to be able to land the Aura Wheel here, but Jumpluff here is going to threaten the shield, and they're going to go for an Aerial Ace. That always feels bad when you have to shield those Aerial Aces. However, the Aerial Ace, I believe, is 5-4, I think, in order to get to them with the Fairy Wind. So Psychic Fang's not even going to shield. And this is, honestly, I get why you want to go for it, but this is why I just can't justify going for, I just can't go. That's why I stopped using Psychic Fangs, because like every time I use it thinking that I'm going to get a shield, I just don't. So I just kind of stopped. I had to. I was like, man, I can't give this to myself anymore. Now I'm using Seed Bomb in order to try and get the Mud Slappers, and I've got a couple. It's been pretty nice. I do say the Psychic Fangs would be nice in some cases as well, but going for the double Brave Bird, opponent's going to have to shield this up if they have any hope of being able to keep their clodsire around, but they decide it's just not worth it. They're going to let it go. Opponent's got a Gastrodon in the back, and this is where the Seed Bomb would be great, but no, they have the Psychic Fangs. Unfortunate. But we have Mandibuzz to be able to deal with this Gastrodon, and Gastrodon's the only Pokemon remaining on the field here for the opponent, and Mandibuzz is about to make the opponent be very, very sad. I'm expecting them to concede here at some point, and they do as soon as they get to that move. There is 2 of them. That's how we have to record it. Getting into the next game here, we got Morpeko into a Clefable, and honestly, because it's a Fairy type, it may or may not be a good matchup here for Morpeko. You do have a massive pacing advantage here with Aura Wheel. However, Clefable gets a Swift off here, and those Fairy Winds definitely are going to add up. But you have to stay in here in order to get this damage off, because your Clefable just gets completely... Hey, not so rough, please. Morpeko's going for the Psychic Fangs now, and they're not going to be able to get a shield with this one, I don't think, because the opponent's just going to know. However, they do have a shield advantage, and the Clefable has a massive energy lead here as the Moltres comes in and is going to try to make something out of this matchup. We're going to go for the shield. It is correctly shielded. That Moonblast is not going to go through. Going for the Ancient Power here to knock out this Clefable. Hopefully it's going to be enough to take out this Clefable. The opponent shields and sees value in their Clefable, and they're going to bring in the Mandibuzz in order to try... Hey! Gonna look to go for this Aerial Ace here and try to get rid of this Clefable, and Swift is going to be thrown here, and the opponent has a Drifblim. Drifblim is not going to be happy to see the Moltres or the Mandibuzz at all. These Dark Pulses are going to do a ton of damage, and only 2 we're going for. We could have hit the Dark Pulse, unfortunately. Going for the move a little early. Mandibuzz would have, I believe, lived in order to get... Yep, we would have lived that Astonish to get to the Dark Pulse, but that's okay because it leaves farm for the Moltres. The opponent is going to have to switch or take the Sucker Punch damage. I don't think they could have, actually. They swapped out of the Clefable. So now it comes down to whatever the opponent has in the back. What are they going to have? It's a Greninja. The opponent tries to do a Peekaboo, but they don't have... the Moltres doesn't have the energy to be able to throw a move, so unfortunately that was kind of not really helpful for the opponent, but a Brave Bird should be enough to knock out. The opponent just decides to concede. Interesting decision. I would have at least tried to get to a Hydro Cannon there. Good game. All right, next game. We are going to have Morpeko on the lead versus a Clodsire. This is not where you want to see the Clodsire. However, if we try, we may be able to succeed in trying to get this thing out of here. Now we're going to go for probably a Psychic Fangs at some point. Oh, the opponent's got Sludge Bomb. They're throwing it right away here. I don't know. I think I probably would have gone into the Mandibuzz or the Moltres here after we see the Sludge Bomb, but we'll see what the opponent decides to do here as far as shield management goes, because the Psychic Fangs is going to make this next Aura Wheel hurt like a truck, and going for the Aura Wheel, the opponent decides that they are not going to throw a charge move right away, and I think that this might be a good point for Sharon to switch out. The opponent does decide to shield, but no, yep, there's the shield. Mandibuzz comes in, and it can easily tank a Sludge Bomb here, no problem. Mandibuzz just waiting to see what comes in after it, and in comes a Feraligatr. The opponent does not seem to have a hard answer for the dark flying types, and that's going to be good news for the Moltres in the back here. If the opponent's best answer to it is going to be Feraligatr, this could be very good. Throwing on alignment here, but I don't mind it because we want to guarantee that we get this Aerial Ace off here, and the opponent's forced to shield up that move, and you can just let this go at this point. Mandibuzz is going to be able to take a Ice Beam if it wants to and still get to another move. The opponent forced to throw this energy, and now it's going to be Moltres time. Moltres is going to come in. Moltres is going to come in here and look to finish off this game with its energy. Going to be able to potentially fully farm down the Feraligatr here, and now what's in the back? The opponent waiting out the switch timer, and they have a Mandibuzz of their own. The opponent playing the #1 team of the season with Clodsire, Mandibuzz, Feraligatr, but unfortunately this Moltres is going to be its doom as it's going for the Brave Bird here. Not the super effective Ancient Power. The Brave Bird would still do far more damage in this matchup. And now it's gonna, you could just go for another one trying to catch the move on the Morpeko, but we're going to go for the Psychic Fang. Get off my desk, small child. Psychic Fangs is going to do quite a bit of damage. The opponent's out of shields. If we get to another Psychic Fangs and we could shield this up. Get off my desk. We're going to be able to get the Sludge Bomb in here. The opponent is going to get that move through, but at what cost? Because now Moltres is going to be able to go for Ancient Power and a farm down. The Brave Bird would have been tempting there, but unfortunately, I don't know if they get there. No, they're going to have to shield up a move. The Sludge Bomb would probably be enough to knock out here. Sludge Bomb is going to get the shield, but is this Mandibuzz going to... Oh, the Mandibuzz gets to a move. Tell me it's not enough. It can't be enough. Aerial Ace can't be enough. It's not enough. The Moltres goes for the Brave Bird, and that's going to take this game. That was a close one. What a close game, but Moltres knocking out the Buzzard.
Boom!
And that's going to be a good game, well played. And that looks like the end of the video. Hopefully you guys think, if you get to try this team, hopefully you don't see too many of those pesky new Rage Fist Community Day Annihilates. This submission was given to me before the Calm Day, and I was only just now able to get around to doing it. But the team still looks like it would be very strong in the Great League meta if you do want to give it a go. It's a very fun Morpeko team. Again, if you just want to try to avoid those fairies, but even still, Sharon's Claw has proved that this team that is triple dark can still overcome fairies with some good energy and shield management. So that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.